نحن أقسمنا يمينا أن نضحي أو نرى الإسلام شرعا ونظاما.
My dear sister Wafa, O light of my thoughts, and pillar of my soul, may I never be without you. 1,000 greetings and 1,000 salutations, my dear and my sincere brotherhood and prayers. Here I am writing to you, my sister, after the fingers of night have gently wiped away the threads of pain woven by the troubles of the day. Everything began to be calm and dreamy, and silence returned to play gently the hidden melody of happiness, which sprang from the depths, flowing gently and spreading in the soul a contentment it had never known before. It sends forth in the spirit an overwhelming flood of ecstasy, the likes of which I have never known before. And I marvel at the night, how its dark gloom transformed into a radiance of light by which I see the landmarks of a new path. And I marvel at words, how their harshness transformed into tenderness, so that they began to wipe away some of the heart's wounds. It is faith, my sister, and it is reassurance in God's mercy, O Wafa. And from the depths emanates a call as gentle as a breeze, as sweet as water, as clear as the sky, and as beautiful as flowers. Yet it is penetrating and clear, possessing all the senses, so they submit to it like a prisoner to his jailer, and they yearn for it like a child for its mother's breast. They lay down their burdens at its threshold, and alight their lips upon its shore. And they listened to the call, and I heard in the undulations of its melody the story of the new birth. Do you know, Wafa, the nature of this call? And the boundaries of this birth? It is the call of faith, and it is the echo of the blessed verse that says, Our Lord, indeed we have heard a caller calling. For faith, that you should believe in your Lord, and we have believed. And so, I knew that I had begun to live again, after I had been reborn, after my heart had been swimming in the darkest depths of torment, woven for me by the days, its fabric tightly bound, and my soul had been shackled in oppressive chains, binding it to the bitter reality with harsh chains, and my mind had been a field of bitter, deadly struggle, floundering aimlessly. It could scarcely see anything, wandering in a distant desert, enveloped by loss. And darkness spread through the years of my life, coloring them with a somber hue, turning everything into darkness, so that I could see only through a black, upright, gloomy lens. And the waves crashed harder and the winds howled more, and the ship of my life was about to sink to the bottom in wreckage, but the watchful, merciful eye of my Lord saw the frail boat struggling against the waves, tossed about by the cruel hand of fate. Through the tears, the crashing waves, and the roaring wind, delicate fingers of a compassionate hand reached out to the drowning man. Your fingers, Wafa, sent to me by the eye of God's providence to soothe the weary heart, to ease the sorrows of the tormented soul and the bewilderment of the restless spirit. With gentleness and tenderness, you guided the group to the shores of happiness and life. And the remnants of words retreated before the rays of light, and dawn broke, heralding the birth of a new day and a new life. I raised my hand upwards, whispering words whose meaning is understood only by the one to whom they were directed. That intimate conversation, it was as if I were announcing to my Creator the news of my new birth and pledging to continue on the path whose source is from Him and whose end is with Him. Then I returned to record for you the news of my new birth as well, for I was born by the grace of my Lord and by your guidance, Wafa, after I learned from you the meaning of happiness and misery in life. May the Everlasting One keep you, my guiding sister, and may you always be safe for me. My dear Raja, may I never be without you. The Almighty knows how happy I felt as I followed your words, which unfolded before my eyes within a new framework and amidst a halo whose light radiates hope and whose rays speak of a new beginning. Yes, I rejoiced in them as a player rejoices when he wins the first round, followed by more rounds. But what kind of game is this? It is the game of life when it tries to manipulate emotions and the colors that paint events. Therefore, when I win a round, I am taking a step forward to rescue someone who was about to become one of life's victims in its bitter reality. Wonderful are your words, dictated to you by the spirit of faith, my sister, but I wish you had replaced the phrase about the captive's submission to his captor with another phrase that is more radiant and expresses happiness and contentment with this submission. Finally, onward and toward a greater appreciation of the blessing of faith. Focus your hopes on righteous words and guiding words, and concentrate your attention on working for the sake of God. For the sake of God, love for God and hate for God, be displeased for God's sake, and rejoice in what pleases God, for whoever turns to him and trusts in him will never be disappointed. Then let me hear from you what will gladden and delight me, Raja, and I entrust you to God, who does not betray trusts. My dear sister Wafa. Peace be upon you, my guidance, and his mercy and blessings, and my peace, brotherhood, and affection. I do not know what this confusion is that possesses me, for I can scarcely discern anything about my situation. I do not want to say that I have turned away from the spiritual happiness and intellectual tranquility I have attained, nor do I say that I was merely indulging in a fleeting moment of faithful happiness, for I still feel it and still live my nascent life with its nascent dawn. But I am still in pain, and I still do not know the source of this pain. You may ask why, but I have only one answer: I don't know. Do you think I'm still living a life before faith? Help me through this critical stage, Wafa. Oh, my guidance, many have passed through my life and tried to change my view of life, but my mind never responded to them, and my soul never accepted their words. As for you, my dear, it suffices to say that you are the only one who erased that prevailing view and tore apart its dark shadows. But isn't it time for you to demolish the edifice of pain that was built on the ruins of my peace and security? Help me, Wafa, tell me if I was able to, and how much I find in your words the security I lack in my life, for they are words of faith, and their conversations are creative and generous. Yes, speak to me and illuminate within me the feelings of guidance more, for perhaps you can wipe away some of this soul's torment. Finally, I hope I have not burdened you with my pains, my dearest sister, and may you always be safe for me. Please, my dearest, may I never be without you. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you, and my sincere greetings and prayers. Pain, my sister, is nothing but an illusory emotion, especially if it is not based on a clear foundation or attributed to a specific source. Anyone can erase the lines of pain from the dictionary of their life if they look at its source with the eye of reality and truth. Unconscious and deliberate pain only produces a succession of pain and brings nothing but a continuous line of suffering. My dear, the pains of life are harsh and restless, forever searching for a bosom in which to nest and sink their sharp fangs. So defend yourself against this heavy intruder and fortify your heart against becoming a breeding ground for this hateful parasite. Deal with life's events simply. Help me rescue your precious soul from the storms that batter it, for it would be unjust to surrender to the rule of these storms and let them carry you away from. The vastness of God's mercy distracts you from sincere and generous worship. It is also unjust that you reach the wellspring of guidance only to be turned away by a tempestuous wind before you can even drink. Last but not least, I entrust you to God, wishing you continued steadfastness against temptations. You are only going through a transitional period and need more stability and preparation. I wish you success always and forever, my sister, and I entrust you to God. My sister, my soulmate, may I never be without you. How are you, my dear? I hope you are well, safe, and healthy in both faith and worldly life. If only I could forget the word, pain, Wafa, if only I could forget all its letters. If only I could fall asleep to a beautiful dream and wake up determined to achieve it, serious about pursuing it, with a genuine smile emanating from the depths of my heart, not one forced upon my lips. Do you know what dream this is that I long for, Wafa? It is happiness in the shade of faith, and it is the rejection of the lingering pain of a life of hardship and confusion. How I wish, my dear, that that word would disappear from the dictionary of my life, so that I would no longer find its meaning, which I used to force upon myself in order to move forward in my life without the constraint called pain, without the mirage that pain portrays, and without the torment that pain depicts. Your gentle hand has begun, by the command of God Almighty, to break the chains, and your heart has begun to bestow from the abundance of His mercy that which tears apart the shadows of torment. And you, with everything that is embodied in you, have begun to draw the path, paving it. With light, you worship Him with guidance, and you spread flowers of hope around Him, whose fragrance almost penetrates the depths, wiping away every dark shadow. It is the hope of God's pleasure and acceptance. And is there anything more wonderful than this hope? But what a truly enriching transitional period, my sister. But from where to where? It is not only from through to guidance and from doubt to certainty, but it is from misery to happiness, from darkness to light, from despair to hope, from pain to infinite logic, to God, to the religion for which I would give my life cheaply, without price. And here I am, raising my hands to God, asking Him for resolve and steadfastness. I am in need of more prayers, and may peace be with you. My dear Raja, may I never be without you. Allow me to say to you, with a hint of reproach, where are your words, shining with the light of guidance? Where are those glittering meanings in your writings, speaking of the good news of a new birth? Where is the spirit of optimism to tell me about the steps of your success in overcoming pain? Let me tell you frankly that I felt disappointed. And nothing is more painful for a person than to see hope wither in their hands after so much has been pinned on it, and that was my experience with you, Raja. You still speak of pain, but what pain is this that the light of faith sustains when it shines upon the corners of hearts? You should speak of the happiness that knocks on your door, even though you ignore those knocks. For what? How happy the soul is, my sister, as it shakes off its pains to rise to the highest realm, pure and immaculate. How happy the soul is as it gazes upon a world eternal, as everlasting as eternity itself, all sublimity, and majesty. How happy the soul is, as it builds upon the ruins of its pains a fortress of faith whose walls will never crumble, no matter how much time separates us. My sister, here I am looking at you today, not as I looked at you before. I loved you for your heart, but today I love you for your soul that I feel rising above this world to be perfected by the light of holiness, your soul that endured the pains of this world to cling to a great and sublime hope, the ultimate goal of every soul and the aspiration of every spirit. That is the pleasure of God Almighty, and that is paradise. Raise your hands to your Lord at all times and ask Him for more faith, more piety, and more guidance. Ask Him for mercy and help, for He is the one who answers. He answers the call of the one who calls upon Him, so to Him belongs all praise and thanks. Increase your recitation of the Holy Quran, for it is the greatest comfort for the soul, the greatest medicine for the spirit, and the greatest purifier from sins. Worship God with a humble heart. For we seek refuge in God from a heart that does not humble itself and does not fall. Remember God, and during the night prostrate to Him and glorify Him a long part of that night. Quran 17:76. So go forward, my dear, and try to rid yourself of the impurities of pain in your life so that you may set forth happy and joyful in the embrace of God. And here I am, waiting for you to do what will gladden and delight me for your sake and lift from me the traces of disappointment once again. Peace be upon you, and I entrust you to God. My dear Wafa, 1,000 greetings and 1,000 salutations and abundant affection. And the apology. And after. I don't know what to write. But the person who used to wish for death every moment now desires life, not for life itself, but for a higher purpose that he now strives to achieve and yearns to reach its ultimate goal, which is the worship of his Lord. From this standpoint, I no longer care about life, no matter how cruel it becomes, and about difficulties, no matter how severe they become. And is life, with its pains and hardships, anything but a speck floating in this infinite universe? A feeling of contentment overwhelms me wherever I go, contentment with everything, with the painful reality, the uncertain future, a contentment that my soul finds peace in, and in which I find solace and comfort. I learned that the wheel of life is turning, whether I am sad or happy, and I knew that the hands of the clock will not go backward, and they have never cared about the tear of the sorrowful nor paid attention to the smile of the happy. We did not ask of her more than she possessed, nor more than she was capable of giving. Therefore, I returned to hope, telling it the story of the happy heart. My hopes were no longer made of sand, for I had begun to rebuild them anew, but with pillars of faith and foundations of certainty. I will not allow pain, no matter how great, to confine me to the hermitage of sorrows. For I want to ascend to the world of purity and faith. Yes, I desire this worldly life so that I may build within it the foundations of happiness in the next life. And last but not least, I hope that faith will accept me into its bountiful embrace, and I pray that it will not forget me. From the supplication, O Wafa, and may you be safe for me. My dear Raja, my precious sister, I send you my sincerest brotherhood and loyalty, and my warmest greetings and prayers. And now, let me say, praise be to God. Yes, praise be to God, for this is what I have always wished for. That the person who has always longed for death should now desire life. This is what I have always wished for, whatever the reasons that drive him to it, as long as they are good and fruitful. And this is what I have always yearned for, to find your soul filled with contentment with all the reasons for life around you. It is true that life can sometimes be harsh, but this is its nature. So let us accept reality and try to adapt ourselves in a way that enables us to withstand its harshness, however bitter it may be. These words of yours will be a witness for you on the day of judgment, that you responded to the call of faith. Our Lord, indeed we have heard a caller calling to faith, saying, "Believe in your Lord," and we have believed. And how happy I am with this joyful heart that has set out towards the embrace of God with strong resolve and new awareness, leaving behind the life of materialism and its fleeting pleasures. So accept my most sincere prayers and my heartfelt brotherhood, and I entrust you to God, who never betrays trusts. My dear sister Wafa, may you never be without me. In the life of a source of guidance and a beacon of light, my sister, I will be strong. I will be stronger than pain and stronger than confusion. I will persevere. The pain in its absence, without longing, I will leave it without return after that. Strengthened by the weapon of faith, I will demolish the towering edifice of pain. That which I built upon the ruins of my comfort and happiness, has. I awoke from a slumber. I awoke to embark on a journey. The light towards divine forgiveness, yes, towards you, my God, how wonderful. Your mercy, when felt by your servants, makes difficulties seem insignificant. Your path, O Lord, and how wonderful is the suffering for your sake, how easy it is. The hardship is in your path, but how sweet is the bitterness in reaching you. It is easy, O God, a tear that is shed only for your sake, and it is far away, O my desire. My God, if paths converge in my life, there is no goal that does not lead to you. Misery, for on my path to you lies a happiness beyond comprehension. And if the heavens of this world have closed in upon me, yet in remembering you I find a wider horizon. And how wonderful it is, my God, to strive towards you and be veiled from you. My soul is freed from its chains of captivity, and my spirit flees to you. From the weight of its iron, O God, I no longer desire anything but your pleasure. I desire nothing but your forgiveness, and I strive only for your annihilation. My God, what? This world is but an hour of longing to meet you, and life is but a passageway to your grave, and life is but moments of struggle for you and in your path, O Lord, make my life a word of contentment and make my deeds pleasing to you. O God, this is an hour of struggle, and make my soul, O my Lord, a flutter of hope. And hope yearns for your forgiveness, longs for your support, and yearns for your mercy. Your pleasure. My God, difficulties only draw me closer to you, and nothing has ceased. The torment pulls me only towards hope in you, and the tears have not ceased. Do you set out only for your sake, so that you, my Lord, may be pleased? How much I need you. Your satisfaction, and last but not least, I entrust you to God, my sister, and I offer you my deepest gratitude, and from my Lord comes the reward and recompense, and may you be safe for me. Raja, my dear Raja, my greetings, my prayers, my sincere affection, and my sisterhood are with you in my soul. How precious you are to me, and how wonderful is the crystallization of your beloved soul, and how wonderful you are, my dear, as you speak of hope in God, the blessed and exalted, this hope that enables a person to stand smiling amidst tears and makes him laugh amidst sighs. It is a hope in God's satisfaction and reward. This hope, when it illuminates the corners of a person's heart, makes their face shine with the ray of hope even in the midst of loneliness and desolation. This hope is what helps the believer open their heart to suffering with open arms and prepare their heart to the arrows of adversity with contentment and conviction, not through despair and surrender. This hope is what transforms the bitterness of life for the believer into sweetness, its gall into a balm, its severity into gentleness and tranquility, and its harshness into mercy and compassion. This hope is the characteristic that defines the believer, as Imam Ali described it when he said, "They lived in this world with bodies whose souls were attached to the highest realm." How difficult life is for those who do not aspire to the source of this hope, and how treacherous its paths are for those for whom this hope has not smoothed its turns. Glory be to you. How desolate are the paths for those who have no guide but you. Faith, my sister, is a lush, shady paradise to which one resorts. Be her guide, for faith, my sister, is a lush, shady paradise to which one flees from the poisons and heat of life. Faith is that sweet spring that provides us with light, happiness, and bliss. Faith is that inexhaustible source that remains a provision for a person in this world and a treasure for the hereafter. Proceed on your path, my sister, and knock with your weak hand on the door of divine mercy. I entrust you to God, and may you be safe for me. My dear sister Wafa, may you always be with me. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. How are you, my dearest sister? I hope you are well. It has been a while since I wrote to you, my dear, and I was neither negligent nor forgetful, but words compensated for lines. I am still, praise be to God, immersed in the joy of faith, but I feel the need for more reassurance. I fear that God will not accept me among his servants. Yes, I fear that he will cast me out from his mercy. This worries me greatly, my sister. Will you answer me, even with just a few words? May you always be safe and sound, my merciful and guiding sister. My dear Raja, my chosen sister. May God protect you with his watchful eye that never sleeps, and after. When has your generous Lord ever turned away from his door those who knocked with hands full of trust and hope? And when has the Almighty ever turned away from his mercy hearts driven by longing for him and led by absolute servitude to yearn for the abundance of his compassion and seek his forgiveness? Indeed, how could he? This is because the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever takes one step towards his Lord takes 10 steps towards him." And the blessed verse says, "Whoever comes with a good deed will have 10 times its reward." Far be it from God to ignore the melodies that faith has crafted to rise to him pure, clear, and crystallized. This is my sincerest brotherhood and prayer for you. I entrust you to God, who never betrays trusts. May you be safe and well.
أو نرى الإسلام شرعا ونظاما